The call came on a quiet Wednesday afternoon. An unfamiliar number flashed across my screen. Emily Carter, we're calling about your overdue mortgage balance. $523,000. I froze in my chair. I didn't own a house. I didn't even own a reliable car. But the banker kept talking. My records show your name, your birth date, your social security number. My stomach dropped. 3 years ago. Right when Jessica wanted a bigger home. I tried to breathe, tried to speak, but the room spun. This wasn't a prank. It wasn't a clerical error. Someone had signed my future away. But before I confronted anyone, I needed proof. And the truth was worse than I imagined. Before we start, tell me where you're watching from. City, state, or country. And what your setup is right now. Couch, kitchen table, late shift. So Echoes of Life knows who's here with us. The email from the bank arrived minutes later. I opened it with shaking hands. A PDF filled my screen. Page after page. My name. My information. My signature. Except it wasn't my signature. Not the loops I make when I'm tired. Not the shaky lines from late nights. This one looked practiced. Clean. Confident. A performance. My chest tightened. Jessica had always copied my handwriting as a kid. Mom used to laugh. Emmy, she just wants to be like you. I guess she still did. Just on a mortgage. For $500,000. I zoomed in further. Every initial was forged. Every page carried a lie. Memories hit hard. Mom calling Jessica our delicate one. Dad sighing when she failed another class. Me paying bills without complaint. Me being the responsible daughter. Invisible until needed. Useful until drained. The kitchen felt smaller. The air felt heavier. My name had become a tool. Not an identity. Not a life. Just a line for them to sign. I pressed my palms into the table. No tears. Not yet. Just that deep surgical ache betrayal brings. Quiet. Precise. Designed to cut clean. I gathered every document I owned. Bank letters. Old tax returns. Credit reports. Even birthday cards where they joked about my responsibility. Evidence. Not for them. For me. To remind myself I wasn't crazy. I wasn't overreacting. This wasn't family loyalty. This was theft. As I built the pile higher, something inside me shifted. A small hard point of clarity formed. Whatever came next, I wouldn't face it blind. Or alone. Because the deeper I looked, the clearer it became. This wasn't a mistake, and it wasn't an accident. Sunday came too fast. I stood at my parents' door, feeling like I was walking into a courtroom. Mom greeted me with her perfect smile. Dad barely glanced away from the TV. Jessica scrolled on her phone, expensive bag tossed beside her. I sat quietly, waited, listened. Their normal chatter felt surreal. Then I finally asked, "Does anyone know about a mortgage with my name on it?" Silence. Not shocked silence. Guilty silence. Mom recovered first. "Honey, it's not a big deal. Jessica just needed help qualifying." Jessica jumped in. "You have good credit, Emmy." "I don't. It's just paperwork. Just paperwork. Just my identity. Just my future. Signed away without a call." I nodded calmly. No yelling. No scene. Just a long inhale. A longer exhale. They thought the conversation was over. They thought the old Emily was still here. But on the drive home, something inside me snapped quiet. Not angry. Not chaotic. Just done. Streetlights blurred past my windshield. Every memory hit harder. The college graduation they skipped. The bills I covered without thanks. The constant "you're strong, Emmy." Translation. You can carry more. She can't. By midnight, I was at my kitchen table again. Laptop open. Tabs multiplying. Fraud laws. Identity theft cases. How to dispute a mortgage. How to file a police report. How to remove your name. I took notes like my life depended on it. Because it did. The next morning, I called out of work, then walked into a quiet cafe downtown to meet a real estate lawyer, recommended by a friend. Mr. Warner was older, sharp-eyed, and direct. He scanned my documents, then looked at me carefully. "This isn't confusion. This is fraud. And it's criminal." Hearing it aloud felt like a blow, but also a lifeline. For the first time, I had someone naming the truth without excuses. He outlined everything. File a police report. Freeze accounts. Dispute the loan. Prepare for a legal fight. None of it scared me. Not anymore. Because I finally understood. I wasn't protecting family. I was protecting myself from people who never protected me. As I walked out of the cafe, sunlight hit me square in the eyes. It felt like the first honest light in years. They thought I'd stay quiet. They had no idea who I was becoming. If your trust was broken in silence, would you swallow it to avoid conflict? Comment 1. Or draw a hard line and investigate everything. Comment 2. The police station smelled like burnt coffee and old metal cabinets. I stood at the counter, documents clutched in my shaking hands. I tried to explain what my own family had done. The officer flipped through the pages slowly. Loan terms, forged signatures, credit hits I never agreed to wear. His expression shifted, a flicker of anger on my behalf. "You sure you want to move forward?" he asked quietly. "If I don't," I said, "they'll keep taking from me." He stamped the report. Just like that, it became official. On the drive home, the sky looked too bright. It felt wrong that the world stayed normal, while mine tilted. From there, everything moved faster than my emotions could keep up. I mailed the certified dispute letter to Liberty National Bank. I attached the police report and every supporting document, even every forged loop of my fake signature. The post office clerk slid the envelope away. It felt like watching an arrow fly straight toward truth. For 2 days, nothing happened. A silence thick enough to hear my own heartbeat. Then on the 3rd day, my mother showed up unannounced. I saw her through the window first, face tight with fear and fury. When I opened the door, I didn't invite her in. She didn't wait for permission. She pushed past the frame anyway. "How dare you involve the police?" she snapped, like I'd embarrassed her, instead of reporting a crime. "Do you have any idea what you've done to this family?" I let her talk. I didn't interrupt. Her words hit my chest and fell harmlessly to the floor. "I trusted you to be understanding," she hissed. Jessica needed help. Family sticks together. My hands stayed steady on the doorframe. My voice stayed even. "No," I said quietly. "Family asks. They don't steal." She blinked, like no one had ever spoken to her, without cushioning the truth. "You've ruined everything," she whispered, voice cracking around the word everything. I almost felt sorry. "I didn't ruin anything," I said. "I just stopped cleaning up your messes." We just stared at each other, years of imbalance hanging between us, like a cracked bridge. Then I closed the door. Soft, final, powerful. I stood there, heart pounding, breath sharp, but not breaking. That click of the lock, that tiny sound, echoed louder inside me, louder than every apology I never got. Later that night, Jessica called 12 times. I didn't answer. Not once. The bank emailed the next morning. Loan suspended. Full investigation opened. My name protected. I stared at the screen, hands trembling with something unfamiliar at first. Relief. Quiet, steady, fully earned relief. They thought silence made me weak. They never understood silence could also be a weapon I aimed back. The weeks that followed felt strangely quiet. No surprise visits. No frantic calls. No guilt-soaked messages telling me to be reasonable. It was like I'd been erased from the family group chat. Not because they understood the harm, but because they finally realized I wasn't bending anymore. Loneliness crept in at first. Even betrayal has an echo. But slowly, something steadier took root inside me. Peace. The quiet kind. The kind that doesn't ask permission and doesn't apologize for existing. I started rebuilding my days. Saturday mornings at the farmer's market. Sunflowers on my kitchen table. Long hikes on cool trails. That made my lungs feel clean again. I even signed up for pottery. Clay soft under my hands. Something new. Taking shape. Because I chose it. Meanwhile, the investigation moved forward. Emails from Mr. Warner filled my inbox. Affidavits. Updates. Steps moving in my favor. Each message reminded me of something simple and powerful. This name is mine. This life is mine. And I wasn't giving either. To people who forged signatures, like casual chores. The bank confirmed the fraud. Jessica's loan began to unravel. Their house slipped into foreclosure. Their finances buckled fast, without my identity, propping them up. I didn't gloat. I didn't smile. I just watched the truth finally do the work I never had the strength to do before. Months passed. My phone stayed quiet. My nights stayed calm. The drama I'd once absorbed kept collapsing without me there to hold it. Then one Sunday afternoon, almost a year later, I came home with bags of pottery from a local fair. They were waiting outside my building. My parents and Jessica. They looked smaller, tired, edges softened by loss. they never imagined facing. Jessica stepped forward first. "Emmy, I need your help. Just for a while." My mother's voice trembled. "We made mistakes. But we're still family." Family. That word tasted different now. Not painful, just distant. Like a language. I no longer spoke. I set my pottery bags down gently and stood straighter. No anger rose in me. No revenge. Just clarity. The kind you only earn after walking through fire alone. "I hope someday you understand real family," I said softly. "It's built on honesty, not borrowed names, and silent theft." Jessica's eyes filled. My mother swallowed hard. My father stared at the ground, maybe for the first time, seeing the cost of their choices. I picked up my bags again. Their hopeful expressions flickered. And as for me, I added quietly, "I'm finally free." I walked past them, without looking back. No shouting, no drama. Just a clean, quiet exit from a life I never owed them. Some breakups aren't loud. Some just release you. Life didn't change overnight. Healing never does. But the silence around me stopped feeling like punishment. It started feeling like space, room to breathe, room to rebuild. I kept going to pottery class. My bowls became steadier. My hands, too. I learned to enjoy mornings. Without waiting for a crisis, therapy helped. Not with forgiveness, with understanding. Why I stayed quiet. Why they assumed I always would. Dr. Winters once said, "Some families see your strength as free labor." I wrote that down. I never forgot it. Months rolled into seasons. My credit recovered. The case closed. My future opened again, wide and unclaimed. On a warm evening, I sat on my balcony, with a mug I'd made. City lights shimmered below. And for the first time, I felt proud of the life I built with my own hands. Sometimes I missed the idea of family, but only the idea, not the version, that used my name, like scrap paper. I found new people, good friends, steady friends, people who showed up without needing something first. One day Jessica texted, a short message. "I'm sorry." I didn't reply. Closure doesn't require conversation. My parents never apologized. That was its own answer. But I didn't need their words anymore. My peace didn't depend on theirs. Now when I think of that loan, that phone call, that forged signature, it no longer burns. It just reminds me where the boundary finally formed. And standing on the other side of it, I feel light, steady, free in a way I didn't know was possible. Sometimes the life you rebuild alone is stronger than the one they broke. If this echoed anything in your own life, hit like, share it with someone who deserves better, and subscribe to Echoes of Life to stay with our next quiet reckoning.